because the last time I didn't set the light up and it came out a little somewhere else last time. Yo, listen. Yo, I'm gonna come out the gate this time. I didn't get no donations last time I posted a live stream. I didn't get no donations. It was like, everything I was saying, I felt empty at the end of the video. I didn't feel empty. I felt like I accomplished the live stream process, but I felt empty in a way that, when people go live, they go live for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They go live because, it's like, it's important. For you to understand what I'm saying during the pandemic is important, but the support is more important. When you see my thumbnail is based on, I want that information to reflect what I'm saying. If that information doesn't reflect what I'm saying, then correct me. Say, that's too gaudy. That's too, you get too much attention with that. But the attention that I need is based on the demand for the vaccine to be distributed fairly. I'm not attempting to distribute a vaccine and the vaccine doesn't work, or the vaccine is not available, or the vaccine hypothetically is not equivalent to your expectations. Let me adjust this light here. I want you to understand that, my efforts to be supported are no less of a place than you seeking the vaccine and not getting sick and dying. When you don't want to get sick and die, then pay the doctor, pay the hospital staff, pay for the expertise along the way. Don't abandon the expertise. Don't abandon the doctor. Don't abandon the process that is need to secure that the information you requesting is present. When you want your information to be present, you want your help. When you want your information to be present, you want the vaccine. You want the results of what you want. So when you want what you want, you got to pay for what you want. Nothing is free in this world. This world is a cold world at times, based on the same thing. Based on the same principles of paying your bills, based on the same principles of paying your way at the toll booth, paying for gas, paying for a car, paying for a house, home, paying for your children to go to school. It's all satisfying your need, supply and demand. When you hear me speaking, I'm not just speaking just to be speaking. I'm speaking because the demand for it is present. I'm trying to make money, most certainly, but not putting aside the demand and the fight for COVID-19. I'm not putting that aside and saying, can I have some money later for the fight? No, I'm not doing that. I'm saying I need some money to pay the bills. I need some money for transportation. I need some money for, the expenses of the fight. If FedEx didn't need the money, they wouldn't say, okay, we'll take the government funded money. If UPS didn't need the money, they wouldn't say, okay, we'll take the government funded money. If United States Postal Service didn't need the money, they wouldn't say, okay, I'll take the government funded money. They wouldn't take the money. Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, they wouldn't take the money. They would just function according to the demand, the huge demand of COVID-19. I got people fighting to not pay me. Well, I might be more productive than any citizen you ever seen. They fighting for me not to be paid. I'm going to call a couple of names. Ladrell Robinson of Chesterfield, Virginia. He's from an old neighborhood that I used to live in. And what he does is, right when I'm posting a live stream, he distracts everybody, saying, look, over here, everybody. I shot the police one time, hypothetically is what I'm saying. I shot the police at one time, and it's all about me right now. Don't listen to his vlog. I'm from the old neighborhood he used to live in. He's not being real. He's not real of a person to distribute a vaccine. He's trying to get over everybody. Look, it's me, everybody, look. And everybody's turning around like, yeah, that's real for what else? What else about him? So, needless to say, my efforts are sincere to the extent of wanting to be paid for my work. Everybody wants to be paid if they're working. If I'm working right now, I'm posting this live stream, I want to be paid. I don't know who's following me, distracting the audience. I don't have no idea other than people that actually are doing what they're doing. They're actually doing what they're doing, so I'm responding saying, that's Dolla50 Robinson right there from Chesterfield, Virginia. His father's name Lawrence, his mother's white, her name is Debbie, his brother's name Derek. You know what I mean? I can do that because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about enough to do that. Now that's his family, his immediate family. His friend is Jafar. I don't know his last name, but his friend is Jafar. They play NBA Live all the time. They play video games. They went to Chesterfield High School. These things that I'm saying are not outside of the realm of vaccine distribution. Take into account the dangers of what I'm saying. He could get mad and say, I got a gun. Don't say that about me, my family. You don't know what you're talking about, blah. And he could shoot his gun. Take all this into account. When you don't take this into account and think vaccine distribution is all butter, it's not all butter. It's dangerous work. You have people challenging you along the way just based on being in old neighborhoods, just based on saying they know you. They don't even know me based on growing up, going to school, and knowing somebody that well. They don't even know me. They know me from moving here some time ago, and they might have seen me, along the way. They don't know me right now. They don't know who I am right now. This right here, this vaccine distribution support for funding, they don't know what this is. They never seen this before. They never seen me before. When the government has control over who's receiving government funded money, it's discriminatory and it has no direction for the future based on supply meeting demand. If you're in the COVID-19 extreme and you got to pay the bills, you got to pay for gas, you got to pay for transportation, clothes, food, shelter, you got to pay for all of that. Don't tell me nothing about I get Social Security. Don't tell me nothing like that. Because when I'm on a bus and you tell me I'm getting Social Security and I'm distributing vaccine according to supply and demand, don't tell me I'm going to be on a bus, a crowded bus with people talking. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me I'm going to be walking down the street carrying groceries. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me I'm not going to have laundry money. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me I'm not going to have food in the refrigerator. Don't tell me that while I'm distributing the vaccine. Don't tell me that somebody from the old neighborhood is going to be distracting the audience while I'm talking. Don't tell me that. These extremes that I'm exposed to distributing this vaccine are real. And until you take it seriously, I'm going to stress the issue. I'm going to say exactly who the people are. I'm going to say what they're doing. I'm not playing with them. If I have a gun, I'm going to defend myself within reason of thousands of people dying every day as a result of what I'm saying. Not as a result of what I'm saying, as a result of the effort that I'm making to prevent the death rate. You're not going to jump in front of all those people dying and play no games with me because I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you in my own defense. You better go get Dolla50 Robinson now and tell him to stop playing with my broadcast. You better let him know that I'll shoot him and I won't play no games with somebody redirecting my broadcast. My broadcast is to save lives. It's not to play no games with the pandemic. Let him know. Say, listen, he's making a serious broadcast. Stop playing with his broadcast. People learn how to manipulate, your YouTube live streams. You won't manipulate my YouTube live stream because I say exactly what you're doing, who you are, and where you are. Your mama name is Debbie. She's white. You're black. Your brother name is Derek. He's mixed. Your father name is Lawrence. Your uncle name is Mac. Your aunt name is Carolyn. Carolyn Robinson. I don't play no games with nobody's identity and not think the accountability is real. The accountability is as real as what your actions are. Your actions won't be something that I'm going to be exposed to because I'm going to expose you. Now, what I'm saying is the vaccine needs funding. The vaccine distribution needs funding. The vaccine distribution is a process that I've generated, that I've established, that I composed myself on a gavel plaque. A gavel plaque alone is for justice, peace, equality, and law and order. A gavel plaque alone. I'm taking the chemistry that I composed and put it on the gavel plaque and it be distributed evenly and fairly throughout the mainstream. That's what I'm doing. I'm not going to tolerate nobody from an old neighborhood distracting my audience and people actually dying. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm going to fight back. This is real life. This is no game, Ladrell Robinson. This is no game. When you shot at those police officers, they locked you up. You went to jail. When you got caught selling drugs, you went to jail when you got caught. Well, when you get caught distracting my audience, you can get shot. You can go to jail. You're going to be accountable, Ladrell Robinson. I'm not playing with you. I'm not the police. I'm not your mother. I'm not your father. I'm not playing with you, whoever I would be. So listen, vaccine distribution is no game. I want everybody to understand that it's no game, and the accountability for my actions of calling out names is real. If what I was saying wasn't real, then the person would be saying, don't call my name out like that. Don't say nothing about my family. My family is important to me. Me risking my life to distract you from the vaccine distribution, that's okay. That's something I prefer to do, but don't call out my family like that. Don't put my family in harm's way. It's just something I prefer to do, distracting you like that. I just prefer to do that because this is who I am. People respect me. People have their own sense of narcissism in their own mind. You have to really say, is this person really distracting them, or is he making his name up? I'm not making up nothing. If I call somebody's name out, you better believe I'm being as real as my live stream. I don't play no games. So the vaccine distribution needs funding. Nancy Pelosi, if you're watching me right now, I ask that you fund the distribution of Novavax, Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. I ask that you support my efforts because my efforts are authentic. The chemistry I compose is authentic. The 911 combination at Amtrak vlog is authentic. The distribution of the vaccine cards, the vaccine business cards are authentic. Nobody has a business card with the vaccine on one side and a stimulus check on the other. Nobody does that. I've done that. I've established a presence in Washington, D.C., where I would take my gavel plaque, put it in my knapsack, and go to Washington, D.C. without revealing the contents of my knapsack and make the vlog based on establishing myself in the mainstream at the Amtrak station in front of the time clock. When I make the vlog is consistent with safety and the betterment of humanity. It's no type of game you play with people that's, better in business. If there's vaccine distribution and they're just saying, okay, you need a vaccine, okay, you need it, that's not organized. I've organized a chemistry, and the chemistry should be acknowledged as such. You're not going to play no games with me, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, I'll call it as I see it, and the accountability will escalate to no return. I've managed to make my way through the mainstream up to this point, and I don't like to be taken lightly. Nobody does. Nobody wants to be taken lightly. If I'm saying I'm distributing the vaccine, and I am distributing the vaccine, then acknowledge me as such. Don't not acknowledge me, and you're acknowledged at Congress, Nancy Pelosi. Chuck Schumer is acknowledged at Congress. McConnell is acknowledged at Congress. And, so on and so forth. Stephen Mnuchin of the Treasury Department, if you could support my efforts, I would appreciate it, because going to these people individually that's listening to what I'm saying doesn't quite equate to you just stepping in and saying, okay, transportation, okay, clothing, okay, housing, proper housing, okay, all bills paid, expenses paid. Okay, because when you step in and say that, I'm not burdened or overwhelmed with the extremes of, somebody playing games with my broadcast. I'm not playing no games. If you're playing games with my broadcast, you can get killed. I may tell somebody to kill you. If they don't kill you, they get killed. I'm not no killer or murderer, but when you take into account that it's going to be 600,000 dead bodies, approaching 700,000 dead bodies, you could die playing around with those extremes. I don't play no games with 600,000 bodies, approaching 700,000 bodies at no time. So the vaccine distribution is an important, delicate process. It needs to be funded every step of the way. When you go to the doctor's office to get treatment, the doctor needs to be paid. The doctor doesn't say, can you give me some money to treat you? The doctor doesn't say, the government might give me some money, to treat you, but I'm gonna treat you anyway. Can you give me a tip? The doctor doesn't do that. The doctor has an established presence in the mainstream. When you go see a doctor is paid, you get treated, everything is 100%. 100%. The doctor is insured. The doctor has guarantees that he's not exposed to the elements of being broke, being without resources, without the tools to treat the patient. The patient is first and foremost to a doctor. And the distribution process, the patient is the first and foremost principle of the distribution process. The entire direction of your efforts is to get the vaccine to the patient. That's the entire purpose. You don't have no other purpose but to get that vaccine to the person and make sure they're healthy once they get the vaccine. Not no vaccine where you get the vaccine and then the person that made the vaccine don't like black people. That's not the purpose of the distribution of the vaccine process. Well, let me tell you, There's no vaccine process in place that can guarantee you that the person that made the vaccine don't like black people. There's nothing in place. I have a gavel plaque. I composed a chemistry where if there's no order, then the order would have to be no less of a place than the gavel plaque. Pay your way. Pay your bills. You got to pay your bills. You can't expect to get my service for free. My service is demanding. I'm demanding you pay me. Nancy Pelosi, I'm demanding the government appropriate funds so I can distribute vaccines fairly, evenly. Not law enforcement, hospitals, politicians, and so on and so forth get treated first and everybody else is left for last, and that's the process. That's not what I'm doing. I have a gavel plaque. Justice, equality, law and order. You understand me right now. When I say distribute the vaccine evenly and fairly, I don't want no dead remains in a museum, on my mind once you give me a vaccine. You're not going to give me a vaccine and kill all 100,000 people, and that's just part of the vaccine process that's in place. You're not giving me no vaccine like that. You're going to have to conduct yourself according to what you're doing. A doctor wears an apron. A doctor has on a stethoscope. A doctor is prepared to do work, according to the responsibility person. A doctor. Don't tell me you're not going to fund me when I'm distributing the vaccine right now. Novavax is a new company being introduced into the mainstream and Food and Drug Administration for the vaccine process. Show up along the way, Nancy Pelosi. You see my efforts. You see my work. Quality work. Nobody has every domain name from Congress to the Supreme Courts to the White House. Nobody does what I do. Pay your way, Nancy Pelosi. Stop trying to get a free ride off the government. Pay your way. No harm intended. No harm intended. I'm just speaking on. I'm speaking on a situation where people are avoiding, spending money where the demand for money to be spent is present. I'm not going with no penny pinching Trump right now. Trump is telling people, don't pay me. Don't pay me for my distribution process. This is what Donald Trump used to say. Well, I tell you what, Donald Trump, when you catch COVID-19, don't expect a doctor to treat you. Don't expect the medical staff at Walter Reed Medical to treat you. When you got treatment, it was based on those doctors being funded, those doctors being paid. None of those doctors had a free ticket. They had to pay their way. They had to pay the doctors in order to treat Donald Trump. Don't tell nobody that's listening to me right now, Donald Trump, not to pay me. I'm telling you directly. This is not no game. You get treated and nobody else does. The people want the same treatment you got. The people want the same treatment that they're supposed to get. They were just sitting here and China released some type of disease without knowing however it was released, and it reached America and we're exposed to the elements of China. Never been to China. Exposed to the elements. Look at my YouTube hat. I bought this YouTube hat from Amazon. Look at it. Look at it, Donald Trump. I have 10 YouTube channels. My most recent channel is Mad Butter. Mad Butter by Dolla50. I'm not playing no games. My information is Mad Butter. You want to play games with somebody's identity, I suggest you do it to yourself. Do it to yourself and make sure you accomplish your task, because you're not going to do anything to me and you're not going to accomplish your task here. Donald Trump. Now, Nancy Pelosi excuse my challenging situation with the pre-existing president. We're at an impasse. He doesn't want to pay me, and I see his efforts, and I get a little edgy at times, whether it's mathematically or live streams. Well, he's not the president, and we don't want that energy to linger on to the next presidency or the current presidency. We want everybody to be positive here. We want the vaccine to be distributed evenly and fairly, and not a lump sum of people in front of another lump sum of people in front of another lump sum of people, where the vaccine is just some type of weapon of warfare. We don't want that. That's not what we're looking for. A gavel plaque has a legal presence. A gavel plaque is more than enough to say there's going to be law and order distributing the vaccine. When the vaccine was in demand, when you get to an auction, the car goes through and they say, all right, $5, $5, $10, $10, $20, $20. All right, $30. All right, $40. All right, you over there, $50. All right, you $60. $60 on this vehicle going by right here. $70 on this vehicle. That's how business is done. It might sound reckless, but that's how business is done. It has an order, but you don't want the order to be vulnerable to somebody being tall. You don't want the order to be vulnerable to somebody with money. You don't want the order of the buying process of the auction to be exposed to any weak links that would hinder better business. Same thing with the distribution process. You want order. You don't want it challenged by somebody's intentions or some unnatural chemistry of somebody being tall and everybody else being short at the auction, and the person just at the auction saying, all right, yeah, I don't have to make all those gestures. I'm just going to shake my head, and you're going to pay attention to me this auction. You're not going to pay attention to those short people. I'm the one that's spending the money. Pay attention to me. And, you see the YouTube flash, at the auction. That's not how things are done. They try and be fair. They try and be, balanced. Same thing with the vaccine. The vaccine needs to be distributed fairly and in a balanced way. You can't disrespect all of humanity by keeping a dead person in a museum and give them a vaccine and say, well, we'll take care of that later. Here, take the vaccine now because, if you don't take it, you die. Well, in case you don't know, I haven't taken the vaccine yet. I haven't taken the vaccine. I feel like if my process isn't being acknowledged, then you won't have your intentions of not acknowledging my process inside of me. Does that make sense? Your intentions not to acknowledge me won't be inside of me with a vaccine. You're going to acknowledge me, and we're going to have some type of agreement with this gavel plaque that everybody understands to be the law-abiding, law-consistent, legally consistent, a plaque. And the combinations of chemistry of Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Novavax, Novavax, someone's tampering with what I'm saying while I'm speaking because I usually don't make live broadcasts. Someone's tampering, in case you don't think somebody could tamper with a live broadcast. If I'm making a live broadcast, a live stream right now, and somebody goes and kills somebody from the old neighborhood, like Ladrell Robinson, go kill somebody, and then get back in the audience, and right when I'm saying something, clap his hands like that, but just kill somebody. That resistance would cause some type of result somewhere else. We have to be mindful of these people. So when I said somebody's tampering with my broadcast, I'm not playing with nobody tampering with my broadcast, and you just not see them. You can see them now because I'm pointing to them. Smack your hands. Distract them. They're not making a broadcast about nothing. They jumping in front of my broadcast to be real. Get from in front of my broadcast. I'm not going to tell you again, child. So back to the subject at hand. Supporting the funding of the vaccine process being in its proper context. Being fair, being even. You have to pay your way. You have to pay your way. You can't, nothing's free in this world. Let alone a deadly disease vaccine. A deadly disease vaccine. You know, when I shut down my channel at GoDaddy for playing around on TV in front of my process, I shut down my channel. I shut down my website. I did not play with no GoDaddy character shaking his hips in front of me, in front of the vaccine process. I did not tolerate it. I shut down the website and couldn't care less what GoDaddy was saying. I know what I was talking about that much. So no one is going to tamper with the process, says the Gallo plaque. No one is going to not acknowledge the accountability of Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Novavax, correction. That's somebody doing that again, because I would have pronounced it Novavax like it's pronounced. No one is going to do that. So most importantly, funding is needed, Nancy Pelosi. This situation is serious, and I'm not going to continue on because it's getting challenging. I'm not going to continue on. I'm going to close with saying peace, everybody, and I'm not going to have nobody play with my broadcast. Peace. Dolla50.